Dogs. On your marks, get set. 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
Good morning and welcome to the live telecast of the University of Lagos 2022 NUGA Scientific Conference. And of course, we are coming to you live at the Distance Learning Institute, which can as well call the Nuruddin Alao Auditorium of this great citadel of learning. My name is Bayo Salau, and I'm bidding you warm welcome to this installment. It's the NUGA 26th Scientific Conference here at the Nuruddin Alao Auditorium. Of course, we have so much to look forward to this wonderful morning. And of course, like we all are aware, every NUGA hosting, there is always a convergence of those in the town and those in the GAO converging to discuss critical issues around sports. This time we'll be looking at the repositioning of institutional sports for excellence and national and global impact. And this is happening right here. This is one thing that is beginning that we have to look at critically in bringing solutions as to how we can actually write our scripts in the area of sport development in Nigeria. At the University of Lagos, we are not always at the backside. We are always in the front burner to actually look at issues that affect us and how we can best put solutions to them. And that is why we are converging here. So much to actually look forward to. We have glitterati upstairs that will be descending at this auditorium. As you can see, there is so much happening. In another few minutes from now, we'll be having the commencement of this particular event. And of course, a whole lot of persons will be spoken to, and we'll be giving insight on what to expect as we clock down to this big event. We'll be going for a very short breather, and when we do come back, it will be time for us to go all around and keep you posted as to what is happening around these confines. We'll be back.
We gotta wake this. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, We are the champions. We are the
into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! NUGA games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks. Get set. The 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
You're welcome back. It's still the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference here at the Nuruddin Alao Auditorium of this great citadel of learning, the University of Lagos. And like I did say in my intro, I said to you all that we're looking forward to the big day, and it's a big day already in our sight. And we can't afford to actually be the last. We are the front runners. We are looking at critical issues around sports. Like I did mention, it's about repositioning institutions, sports, for excellent national and global impact. And what better way to discuss this, to change the narrative, by bringing together the brains and those from the town and gowns to come and discuss critical issues around our sporting development. And here with me this morning is an erudite scholar, an academic professor, one who is respected so much in the industry and beyond these confines. I have the pleasure to introduce to you Professor Faso. Professor, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks so much.
Sir, it's a big day for us. For anybody who understands what sports is all about in Nigeria, what exactly should we look forward to at this big event?
I can tell you that what you are going to get from this academic forum, we are going to change the narratives of NUGA as well as institutional sports in Nigeria. We are key into the best practices to the extent that other countries in Africa can use us as a benchmark. Because we are going to look at the leadership, we are going to look at the foundational problem, and we are going to bring institutionalized institutional sports to the extent that it can attract sponsors, marketers. Instead of we going out to them now, we are looking at a way whereby they are the one coming to us. We are looking for how we can begin to position our athletes, that they can be good for any company for endorsement. And that's the level we are going. Another thing is this: we don't want to make the mistake. They are athletes, they are students. We want to make sure that we combine both academics, and whereby sport is not suffering, academics is not suffering. it's going very great. We're going to give some templates we're going to use. It's going to change the narrative. Don't forget narratives of NUGA and institutional sports in Nigeria.
It seems like it's a whole new dimension we're bringing to this particular NUGA edition. University of Lagos, like it's always known, they've known to be a pace setter in trying to do things all right. There's so much to look forward to, but there's one area of concern, especially in our area of sports. Okay. It's about age. Age falsification has been a very, very deepening issue that affects our sports. Yes. A lot of people will say in Africa, it almost looks like it's 5 and 6. What exactly are you doing to ensuring that that is done?
Can I be honest with you? Science has changed that one, except we don't want to key into it. IMR, you can check falsification of age through that one. Number 2, if we look at the NUGA tag we are having there, there's a portion there that you can easily dictate.
The barcode?
Yeah, the barcode. You can use it to dictate. It's only if we don't want to use it. And that is why in Europe you don't find there some of our athletes who have been cheating before, they can no longer cheat again outside. So it's for us to look inward too and do the right thing. We can do it. They know that. And can I be honest with you? We better warn them. You see, there is a lot of diminishing returns. Age will always catch up on people. So that is why we want to make sure that we use our institution, our university, as the bedrock for talent identification. We know their age when they are coming in. They cannot falsify anything, so it's better for us, and we're going to get it.
Interesting. So much to actually look forward to. Like Professor has said, we want to say a big thank you to you for coming around. Of course, if you still want to be part of this excitement, Professor Hassan, by the way, is the keynote speaker at this particular year's event, and he will have a whole lot to talk about when it comes to repositioning institutional sports in Nigeria and beyond the confines. Of course, we'll take it away from here. Thank you so much for coming around. There's so much to actually still look forward to. We've got more and more names to talk to you at this particular event. Dr. Larry Izamoje is one of the discussants. Professor Morofolu, all the way from the Lagos State University LASU as well, is on ground. These are the many notable figures that will be speaking to you around what to expect and how to change the narrative around sports in its entirety. My name is Bayo Salah once again. We'll be back after this short break now. What?
We are the champions. We are the champions. We are the champions. We are the champions.
Yes, I'm a king. Yes, I'm a star. Hey, whoa, oh. I got no fear in front of the crowd. Hey, whoa, oh. I can see them chanting, yeah. I believe in my dream, yeah. Can't you see how far we came? I'ma do it all again. I am a champion. I am a bird winner. This is my destiny. They about to know who we are. Break out them records. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah, yeah. Can achieve, just believe in yourself. Look at me, I'm a king in my show. Turn up the lighter, make it shine brighter. Cause you're looking at the champions. At the champions. At the champions. At the champions.
Ensuring that we bring to you up to speed as to what is happening within these particular confines. I have here with me the privilege of bringing in another sports aficionado, someone who is very, very critical in sport management and an exciting man who has done so much for sports in Nigeria and Lagos as it were. His name is Professor Morofolu. Professor Morofolu, A pleasure to have you here this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Professor Monfolu, there's been a whole lot happening around sports, and this year's theme talks about repositioning institutional sports for excellent national and global impact. How exactly can you bring this side to side or side by side with many of the problems we seem to have faced in sports?
Yeah, certainly the theme of this conference is very, very apt and direct, and it's addressing the critical issues facing the sports industry in Nigeria as we speak. And one of the sub-contents that I will be speaking on is sponsorship, particularly from the angle of institutional sports. We know globally, sports remains, at the institutional level, remains the driver of sport development in many nations. And that's why you find out that the dominating nations globally invest a lot in institutional sports. And that's the approach that we are looking at today. How do we approach sports development in our institution through sponsorship? Yeah, and that will be very, very critical. And that's why you need to know that there are a lot of funds that are available to be invested in institutional sports, but we need to develop the right approach in terms of attracting the right sponsors and giving them value for their money.
Interesting stuff. Another area of concern that you've actually raised is very interesting, area of sponsorship. But again, they say you only put your money where your mouth is. How exactly what exactly can we do to be able to attract these sponsors to our sport? You know, football seems to be the opium. Everybody seems to be focused on football. Evidently is what we saw at this particular NUGA, that a whole lot of attention was placed around the pitch panels on the field of play, because football is where you have the sandwich of all eyes. But how can we do to break out to ensuring that other sports do not suffer? Because football still remains the biggest sport in Nigeria.
Yeah, certainly. And that's how I find out that we need to redirect and reposition the sports industry, particularly in Nigeria. Outside, for instance, in America, basketball is the in thing. In India, you talk of cricket. But in Nigeria, we know it's football. But nonetheless, we can repackage the sports industry, particularly from the angle of the institutional sports, and reposition in such a way that other sports could begin to attract the sponsors. What we need to do is to create value, for those sponsors, and give them the confidence that when they invest into these areas of sports, they will be able to get value for their money. And I think that will change the narrative, particularly regarding institutional sports in Nigeria.
Thanks very much for your time, Professor Monfolu. Thank you, sir. All right, that's how it's been. That's the size of our packet this morning before we switch gear to the main event. Of course, we have members of management already seated at the 26th edition of the NUGA Games. It's this NUGA Scientific Conference, a very, very big event in the NUGA agenda. And of course, we are so glad to be part of it. You can also follow us across all our socials at UNILAG on TV for all of the details around this particular event. We'll be right back just after everything must have been concluded.
We gotta wake this. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah, yeah.
We are the champions. We are the
Action. Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! NUGA Games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks, get set. The 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
2022 games live on YouTube at UNILAG on TV.
Action. Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! NUGA games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks. Get set. The 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah, yeah, yeah.
We are the champions. We are the
We gotta win.
Thank you, oh Lord our God, for this sixth edition of NUGA Games being hosted by this prestigious university. Thank you, oh Lord, for our Vice Chancellor, the 12th Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos, Professor Oluwatoyin Temitayo Ogundipe. Thank you for all the DVCs. Thank you for all the principal team. Thank you, thank you, oh Lord, that to you, oh God, all our students from all the various universities across this nation. Oh Lord, our God, we thank you that the program started since the 16th of this month, and this is the 8th day. Oh Lord, our Father, we are grateful to you in Jesus' name. We are here this morning, oh Lord, our King, for the NUGA Scientific Conference, the 26th edition. Lord, our God, thank you for Professor Grace Otinwa, the chairman of this particular aspect. Thank you for all the preparations they have put into it. Oh Lord, our King, we are grateful in Jesus' name. And we ask, oh God, that you help us take absolute control of this program from inception to conclusion, oh God, that your name be glorified. And the remaining part of NUGA Games, oh Lord, our King, will be more glorious than the ones we've had. That by the time we are doing the closing ceremony on the 26th of this name, oh God, in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen. Thank you very much.
May we please remain upstanding as we take the rendition of the national anthem of our dear country, Nigeria, and we take the best university anthem, and that's the University of Lagos anthem. Let's remain upstanding. Greater cockeyed. Greater cockeyed. Greatest are cockeyed.
I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah, 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 yeah.
We are the champions. We are the
We got 'em records. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah, 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 yeah.
we are the champions. We are the
We are sorry for that break
We
in
got 'em
transmission.
records. I'm gonna
Glad
raise
to
up
know
the bar.
we are back.
Oh mama, yeah, yeah.
And this is the Professor Nuruddin Allahu Hall. And we are hosting the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference with the theme Repositioning Institutional Sports for Excellent National and Global Impact. This morning we have star casts of erudite scholars and dignitaries blessing us with their presence. I will respectfully want to invite them to this podium to take their rightful position. The very first person I wish to invite this wonderful morning is the NUGA president. And join me as I welcome Professor Stephen Sana Hammerfeldt. Next, that I respectfully want to invite is a keynote speaker and a big mentor of yours truly, my lecturer, Professor Clement Oluseun Fason. Let me also invite the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services, who also doubles as the alternate chair of the LOC, Professor Ayodele Ashenua. The chairperson of the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference, and join me to welcome Professor Grace Olapeju Otinwa. Let me now call on the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Research, and the Chairman of Team UNILAG Participation, Professor Oluwole Familoni, FAS. And the last to be invited on this side is our very own ES reporting, the Executive Secretary for our own side. Joseph Awoifa. A round of applause for him. Let me still stay with management. We have the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services, the only LOC for life. Every other LOC will be dissolved. Professor Lucien Obina Chukwu, a round of applause for him. I also have the Registrar, Barrister Oladejo Aziz Esquire. The Purser, Dr. Olalekan Lawal, FCA. The University Librarian, Professor Yetunde Zaid, CLN. Director, Academic Planning, Professor Mokolola Ayoka Olushaki. The Provost, College of Medicine, Professor David Adwale Oki. We have Professor Afolabi Leshi, immediate past Provost, College of Medicine, and the Chairman of the Medical Subcommittee. Also seated here, the Chairman, University of Lagos Sports Council, Professor Solomon Akimboyi. A round of applause. The Director, Research and Innovation, and Member of Council, Professor Paula Oppo. A round of applause for her. We have all the way from Uganda, Dr. Penina Aligawesa Kabenge. A round of applause for her. We also have the representative of the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sport Development of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Sunday Akindari, ably represented by Mrs. Adaku Uwachuku. Is she here? A round of applause for her. The wife of the Vice Chancellor is here. We say good morning to you, ma, Ms. Oluwaseun Ogunipe. A round of applause for her. We have seasoned panelists that will be doing justice to various subtopics. Let me first recognize one I respect so much, the Chairman, CEO of Brilliant FM, the one we simply call the Double Doctor, Dr. Larry Izamoji. A round of applause for him. NUGA representative for NUGA Scientific Conference, Professor Ebenezer Murakio. A round of applause for him. The ageless, Dr. Bola Orodele. A round of applause for him. Former NUGA Secretary. We also have Professor Abiodun Moronfolu. A round of applause for him. We have Professor Abayomi Okonlawo. A round of applause for him also. The Director, Distant Learning Institute, Professor Uchenna Udiani. A round of applause for her. Just joined us is Dr. Sheun Nariwo. A round of applause for her. Mr. Olatunde Adebayo, the FISU Ambassador. In absentia, let's give him a round of applause. While we also give Ms. Similoluwa Oladikupo a round of applause. Those are our panelists. I see you, Professor Ngozi Osarere. Thank you very much, man, for coming. More and more recognition will be done. Without wasting much of our time, Dr. John, the next item.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to have trees in our midst. but most of all, the man who sits on the affairs of this university, our amiable Vice Chancellor, who is able to touch base with students, touch base with staff, academics, non-academics. I've seen several clips during this event and prior to the commencement of this NUGA, how he has been actively involved in ensuring that this memorable event holds. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like that we all stand and with a very resounding applause welcome the Vice Chancellor, the 12th Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe. Thank you very much. Ably represented by the alternate chair, Professor Ayodele Otinwa, for the opening. Professor Ayodele Asenwa for the opening speech. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The representative. Well, maybe I need to start on a note of apology. Thanks to NUGA. My voice is a little bit cracked, but I think that it's all part of the fun and it's all part of the excitement. The representative of the Minister of Youth and Sports Development in Nigeria, Chief Sunday Akindare, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Research, Professor Oluwole Familoni, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services, Professor Chukwu, the Registrar of the University of Lagos, Oladejo Aziz Esquire, the Bossa, Dr. Olalekan Lawal, the Provost of the College of Medicine, Professor David Oke, the President, the National Universities Games Association, Professor Stephen Amafielto, the NUGA Council, and the NUGA Main Organizing Committee, deans and directors of institutes, beloved students of the University of Lagos and all participating universities, as well as the coaches, the directors, and everyone here represented. Gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the scientific conference of the 26th edition of the National University Games Association, NUGA, being hosted by the University of Lagos. Between the 16th and the 26th of March, 2022. The theme of the 2022 NUGA Games is fostering greater unity and nation building among Nigerian youths through university sports. While the theme of the scientific conference is repositioning institutional sports for excellent national and global impact. The University of Lagos, located and birthed by the aquatic splendor of Lagos, of the Lagos Lagoon, is renowned for academic, research, professional, and sports excellence. In its 56 years history of the NUGA Games, the University of Lagos has featured and excelled in most of the editions of and itself has hosted 3 previous editions of the Games in 1968, 1978, 1998, and this is the 4th, which we are hosting in 2022. The university has also produced great ambassadors who continue to excel within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria, the list of which we cannot enumerate here. These men and women have brought great glory and fame to Nigeria and global sports industry. The effort to host the 26th NUGA Games started in 2018, but was halted by the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, amongst others. Today, to the glory of God, the NUGA 2022 has become a reality, and our university plays host to about 6,000 athletes from about 80 universities across Nigeria, including over 500 officials, 200 sports journalists, hosts of other guests, and of course, millions of viewers globally. Today, we crown the sports events with a twist of academic and scientific color through the presentation of scholarly research papers and discussions on groundbreaking researches from different Nigerian universities and beyond. Today, we have tracts for presentation, and participants will be well treated to a great menu of research findings, deepened knowledge, as experienced by and known by our keynote speaker, Professor Clement Fasson, FNSSM, who is a renowned tutor and former Dean, Faculty of Education, Lagos State University. We also look forward to great contributions and well-accomplished panel discussants who will be joining us physically from various parts of the world in the course of today. Finally, I congratulate the NUGA management, the university management, and of course the organizing committee of the NUGA Scientific Conference, ably chaired by our own Director of Quality Assurance at the University of Lagos, Professor Grace Otinwa, and I welcome you warmly to the University of Lagos, the University of First Choice, the nation's pride. I invite you to please sit back as we together make this a historic conference. Thank you very much.
People who know yours truly, Oluwaseun Ajegbawa, know that I'm an Oliver Twist and I like to ask for more. It won't be out of place if you give the representative of the Vice Chancellor and the alternate chair of the LOC, Professor Ayodele Ashenua, another resounding round of applause. Professor Ashenua led us to where we are going to. She congratulated someone. And the person she congratulated, coincidentally, is the chairman, NUGA Scientific Conference. Distinguished guests seated here, viewers all over the world, I'd like to welcome to the podium to give us our address, Professor Grace Olapeju Otinwa, the chairperson for the NUGA Scientific Conference.
The Honorable Minister for Youth and Development, Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Assistant Director, Physiotherapy Services, Sports Medicine Department, Mrs. Adaku Nwachukwu, our amiable Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe, and his dear Mrs. Oluwaseun Ogundipe. The Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Research, Professor Oluwale Familoni, FAS, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services, and the alternate chair, Local Organizing Committee for the 26th NUGA edition, Professor Ayodele Ashenua, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services, Professor Lucian Chuku, the Registrar, Ladejo Aziz Esquire, the Bossa, Dr. Kong, the Librarian, so Yetunde Zaid, Provost, College of Medicine, Professor Wale Oke, the Director of Academic Planning, Professor Ayoka Mopelola Olushakin, the spouses of management staff seated here, the Executive President, Professor Stephen Amafioto, and other members, the NUGA Executive Secretary, Dr. Joseph Awoyinfa, WAU FISU Representative, Dr. Kambege, our keynote, Professor Met Fasson, our panel discussants and reviewers, directors, deans of faculties, heads of departments and units, professors and other professional colleagues, director of sports from various universities, coaches, our esteemed NUGA Forum Committee, Imperial Company, that is ably represented by Mr. Olasunkami Kazim, our dear conference participants on site and online from Ghana, US, and Spain, students, athletes, and other students, whom I call the owner of NUGA, gentlemen of the ladies and gentlemen, it is with deep thanksgiving to God that I welcome you to the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference with the theme Repositioning Institutional Sports for Excellent and Global Impact. At this meeting, institutes at primary, secondary, and tertiary levels will be discussed by facilitators such as from the historical perspective, the science and performance, current practices in sports, and challenges, with the aim of maximizing all the potentials and benefits associated with sports. I said that the repositioning of sports for future gains can actually start by identifying relevant opportunities that can lead to best practices. The keynote speaker and panel discussants are well prepared to share their experiences in a thought-stimulating manner, while authors who have submitted abstracts of their research findings have been grouped into three major areas. One is technology, two, humanities, three, health and science, would have their presentations in various breakout sessions. The peer review of the articles presented will commence by the grace of God tomorrow, Thursday, 24 March 2022 at 10 a.m. This is to accelerate the process of NUGA journal publication. Therefore, all authors should pick up their review feedback on Friday, 25th March at 12 noon at the DLI Management Boardroom. Corrections are expected to be effected and returned by 30th April 2022. It is my prayer that the outcomes of this conference will have a positive and lasting impact on the health, economy, emotional well-being of Nigerians and others, as well as NUGA and other stakeholders. May I use this opportunity to appreciate our amiable Vice Chancellor for the leadership he has provided in driving the hosting of this 26th edition. I also want to appreciate the NUGA Executive Council, and I think they deserve a big round of applause. Thank you. I also want to appreciate one of our sponsors for this conference, and that is Imperial Company, for supporting us with their products, which some of us will find in our records. I cannot complete this welcome address without recognizing my husband, Engineer A.O. Otinwa. And as I close, I say, may God bless NUGA, may God bless University of Lagos, the University of First Choice and the nation's pride, and may God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The chairperson for the NUGA Scientific Conference, Professor Grace Olakweju Otinwa. At this juncture, we make progress, and the next person we'll be inviting to speak to us this morning, all the way from the home of peace, University of Maiduguri, the NUGA president, who tells yours truly all the time, Sheung, I'm from Bachama, Professor Stephen Sana Hammerfeld.
Good morning, all. Not be able to mention all the names in the protocol. Therefore, I wish to stand on the existing protocol and want to thank the Vice Chancellor for giving us the opportunity and privilege to host the Gate of Lagos. I want to specially recognize Mrs. Penina, who came all the way from Uganda. Penina is the Secretary General of FASU, Federation of African University Sports. She is the Secretary General. And she also combines as the third Vice President of FISU, World University Games. Is a very powerful personality that we have to drag from Uganda to come here. The president of FASU also was to come, but she is already on another FISU engagement. She also is a woman. So the chance is for women to take the center stage in sports administration. We have pulled her here because we are in conversation with University of Lagos and LASU for the hosting of FASU 2024. So you shouldn't rest. You are going to have more because you have done more. Hello, I can't hear you clap. You are University of First Choice and the nation's pride. Let me re-echo it again. I come from Home of Peace, University of Maiduguri. I want to welcome each and every one of us to this forum, and sincerely also want to thank the organizers of this conference for putting your thoughts and your actions together to give us this befitting conference today. It is one of the biggest. While we have been hosting NUGA games in various universities, we've never seen an outpour of people like this. Thank you for putting your thoughts and your actions together. I also want to urge our participants, attendees of this conference, to take advantage of papers that will be presented in this conference so that we will build a network of research collaboration in order to grow sports in Nigeria, in Africa, and get the purpose of it globally. With this, I want to thank you so very much for giving me the opportunity to stand on your podium. University of First Choice, the nation's pride. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for the NUGA president, Professor Stephen Sana Amafelto. Thank you very much, sir. We'd like to say a big thank you to CITS for this coverage, but more importantly, UNILAG television for streaming it live. On YouTube, it's UNILAG on TV. They've been streaming all the events live. I'll be getting some positive feedback. At this juncture, it's time for us to listen to the keynote address. This is the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference with the theme, Repositioning Institutional Sports for Excellent National and Global Impact. And the erudite scholar that has been saddled with this responsibility was my former lecturer, still my lecturer and my mentor. And I remember my first encounter with him in year 2. When he came into the class, I asked myself, if this first class is like this, what would the exam be like? He kept on telling us the whole gamut, Buberian theory. And we ask ourselves, we are in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, that class was the best class, camping and leadership. At this juncture, enjoy me as we invite Professor Clement Oluseun Fason, Fellow, Nigerian Society of Sports Management. But before then, Dr. John Niobong, this man cannot just step on the stage and start delivering who is he and who is to take his citation.
To take his citation is Dr. Blessing Anyekwa.
All protocols duly observed. I take the citation of Professor Clement Olusegun Fason. Professor Fason is from Ilesa in Ogun State. He attended Ijebu Ijesa Grammar School from 1969. He was at Wesley College, which produced the likes of Chief Obafemi Awolowo and Dr. Tai Sholari from 1976 to 1978.
He later attended Advanced Teachers College at Adenri Ogusoya College of Education from 1977 to 1980. He had the first degree in physical and health education from the University of Benin in 1983. He had his master's in education and PhD in sports administration from the University of Ibadan in 1984 and 89 respectively. He obtained the master's and MSc in industrial relations and personnel management from University of Lagos in 1992, and an executive master's in sports organization and management from the University of Claudie Bernard of Lyon in France in 2003. Professor Passon started his lecturing career in 1985 when he became the first old student to lecture at the Lagos State College of Education. He lectured at the University of Lagos from 1991 to 2009. He joined the service of Lagos State University in 2009 and remained there till date. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Passon was a visiting professor at the University of Ottawa, Canada, from 2018 to 2019. He has over 50 publications, nationally and internationally in different. And he was a sub-dean of the Faculty of Education at the University of Lagos from 2000 to 2002. He had served as the head of Department of Human Kinetics, Sports and Health Education. He also served as the dean the Faculty of Education. He also was two-time acting director of sports and a former chairman of the on an international level. Professor Passon became the first Nigerian to handle the IOC sport administration, hitherto handled. He became the first Nigerian to coordinate the IOC Olympic Value Education Program and the first Nigerian to become IOC Program Director of Advancement Course. Ladies and gentlemen, he was also a member of the Nigerian delegation to UNESCO conference in Paris in 2015. In his quest for knowledge and continuous professional development, he has traveled through nook and cranny of the world, attending workshops and conferences in places like Brazil, Sweden, Canada, University of Florida, amongst others. On the home front, he was a paper presenter at the Presidential Sports Retreat at Aso Rock in 2012. He was also a consultant at the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development in 2018 on sports policy. Professor Passon had produced several PhD candidates that are contributing to sports and national development. These, among others, are Professor Abiodun Moronfolu, the current HOD of HKE LASU, Associate Professor J.O. Awoyinfa, the ES of the 26th NUGA Game, and Dr. Ogusomore, in charge of the volunteer services of the 26th NUGA Games. Not forgetting Dr. Ibrahim Wahab of Superb. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Passon is happily married to Mrs. M.K. Passon, and they have 3 beautiful children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the keynote speaker.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am highly honored, humbled to stand in front of this congregation this morning. I'm not the best in the profession, but to be recognized, I give glory to God and to Professor Otinwa's team. I'm going to stand on existing protocol, but nevertheless, the Vice Chancellor has gone out now, but I want to recognize him very well. I worked with him before I left here. He was the All Master of Mariri Hall, and I was the All Warden. Also, all the Deputy Vice Chancellor here, minus Professor Ayodele, I'm not so close to her. But for Professor Familoni, Professor Chuku, yes, very close. I came back to UNILAG as a student in 2016 to come and do another PhD. And when Professor Chuku saw me while addressing the student, he said, "What have I come to do?" I was searching for knowledge. I didn't continue because I became the dean of the faculty. I left here. Today's presentation is symbolic. On the 23rd day of March 2009, I left UNILAG for LASU. And today, day of March 2022, I came back to present a paper. I've come before, but this one is symbolic. Number two, the last NUGA Scientific Congress, 1998, I was the secretary to the committee. But today, I'm now a what? I'm now a presenter too. Yes, I have some friends here. I got them friends, and I can tell you, number one person among them is Alara, Professor Mrs. Osire. Very close friend, and since then, we are still very close. As I was passing, I saw Professor Udeani. Professor Udeani, yes, so happy to see you again after how many years? And my own man, Professor Mrs. Shakin, I want to recognize you too. Thank God for you too. Thank you. And again, I can but recognize my in-law too, Professor Mrs. Otinwa, and again, my HOD there. There's somebody here I need to recognize, and that's the president of NUGA. Many years ago in UI there was a conference, and there was a communique group there. I was the chairman, and was the secretary. I can recognize his contribution, and from that day, I know it's very cerebral. I don't know whether Babs Ogunade is around. Is he around? I don't know whether he's around. Oh, but please stand up for recognition. These are one of those people projecting the group. Yes. I don't know whether Amid Adu is also around. Amid Adu, I don't know whether he's around there too. You have products which you can make use of. And to all those students, since I came for NUGA, I can be seeing many of them coming around me there. And Babane Alara himself, who is anchoring this program. I can tell you, I've made mention of him everywhere there. And we are starting a program, master's program now, sport journalism and marketing. And I said, I'm going to bring the students here for internship under his tutelage. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of this paper is repositioning institutional sports for excellent national and global impact. The Nigerian University Game is one of the oldest sports organizations in Nigeria. Going by history, NUGA predated National Sports Festival because it was founded in 1966 at the University of Ibadan after the first West African Games in 1965. Therefore, the current NUGA 2022 hosted by one of the foremost academic institutions which has been prized as the first choice for candidates seeking admission at university, the University of Lagos, is a testimony that it has come of age. So many events might have shaped the success or challenges, notwithstanding there is a need to look at the past, examine and interpret the present and predict the future, so as to attain greater heights. Hence, our gathering today to brainstorm, to strategize and channel a pathway for the future of NUGA and institutional sports. It has come at the right time. On this 26th of March this year, NUGA 2022 will be our history. Then it will be very clear to us if we have done so well or not. But can I be honest with you? I'm not a psychopath. I can prejudge. And you have heard from the horse's mouth too that NUGA 2022 UNILAG has changed the narratives of NUGA forever. Why am I saying that? Are you talking of the quality of preparation? Are you talking of the quality of facilities? Look at the swimming pool there. Level of stakeholders' engagement and involvement. Look at the Vice Chancellor and the team globe-trotting there. The game is that of inclusion. I can see people from College of Medicine, Communication, mention them. They were all put down into the various committees there too. This is the first NUGA with the highest number of sponsors, dedicated marketing consultants, student participation, community involvement, promoting sense of belonging, improve socialization, no threat to the organization, and lastly, the issue of impact, legacy, and sustainability. Since the Scientific Congress, an assembly of sports scientists, experts, teachers, coaches, and other relevant stakeholders, there is a need to answer some pertinent questions with regards to NUGA and institutional sports. And from what we have seen in UNILAG, I'm of the opinion that we should be rethinking institutional sports for national and international relevance. The questions are, is the foundation faulty? I said no. Is there any problem with the current structure? I say yes. Is there any problem with the process, organization? Yes. Is there any problem with the people? I said yes. Is there any problem with the product? I said yes. Is there any problem with the program and programming? I said yes. Is there any problem with the policies? I said yes. Is there any problem with the vision, mission, and value? I said yes. I do not want to agree that NUGA or institutional sports belong to checkered history. However, there is a need to extract NUGA and institutional sports. And to do this clearly, I have decided to divide the period since NUGA inception into three phases. Number one, NUGA at the beginning. And this is what I term the golden era of NUGA. The Yoruba said, is there, and those are one of those products which have been produced there. Remember I said golden era. Number two, NUGA at transition. And I call this one the dark ages of NUGA. And I came to the third one, and which I'm going to delve much on, is NUGA in Renaissance. And what do I mean by that? NUGA, the rebirth, the revival, the renewal, and restoration of NUGA. Don't get me wrong. I came about these three divisions because of the topic starting with the word repositioning. Before this is done, we need to critically examine NUGA operation and institutional sports governance and management. Don't mind me, the two words may be synonymous, but they are not the same. Since 2019, I've been working with the chairperson and secretary to this committee, and I came up with two topics. The first one is Nigerian University athletes in a bewildered environment, a bailout or rescue through an improved sports delivery system. Number two, taking the Nigerian University sports to the next level through improved sports delivery system. Back to my calibration of NUGA and institutional sports into three groups. What are the criteria for my calibration there? One, the product, the leadership, the the relevance in terms of impact and legacy, programs in terms of frequency, the quality of the program, and the level of participation, and lastly, the results. I must give credit to whom it is due. To NUGA Council, under the able leadership of Prof, and the immediate past secretary, Mr. Bola Oredele. Please stand up for recognition, please. Mr. Bola Oredele, the two of them, they have done noble work there. And you know, before you ask somebody to dissect, I need to consult Pastor Oredele. And the first question I pose to him is, who are the past president and secretaries of NUGA since inception and their tenure? And what do I mean by tenure? The number of years they spent. I wanted to pick them up on that. That many of them have spent 10, 15, or so and so number of years. But by the time I went back to NUGA too, I discovered that the NUGA secretary or CEO have spent more time than I. And therefore, maybe that's a tradition. We'll be coming back to that too. The number two question I posed to him is, athletes from NUGA competition who have represented.
Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! NUGA Games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks. Get set. The 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
2 games live on YouTube at UNILAG on TV.
Businessman will not define sports the way those of us in education will define it. And that is why, and journalists will not define it the way. Everybody's going to define it the way of its operation. The businessman is not looking, what was he looking for? Return on investment. You want to see the mileage is going to make there. That's what he's looking for. So I'm going to leave that aspect out there. I gave some definition there. I want to go to institutional sports. And what are institutional sports? By my own definition, institutional sports can be seen as an array of sporting activities which can either be recreational, leisure-bound, competitive, vocational, carried out under the auspices of a tertiary institution and under the tutelage of a director or coaches. Institutional sports can be seen as the organization and governance of sports within a tertiary institution that allows students and staff participate in or practice sports at grassroots for wholeness, wellness, or as an amateur for competition within and outside, or as a professional for the purpose of making a vocation. Institutional sport can be seen as an institutionalized sport that pave way for student engagement with resultant effect on health, physical prowess, purposeful leisure engagement, avenue to develop and excel some skills, and gradually leading to a career path or transferable skill for the future. Institutional sports can be seen as an opportunity for students in tertiary institutions to display or exhibit their potential in sports, thereby creating opportunity for other students to become fans and supporters. Institutional sports is a breeding ground for budding athletes and talent identification program, as well as opportunity for sports marketing. What is the structure of institutional sports? And I put something there. From the base there, we have the mass or grassroots sports, and this is followed by amateur and the professional. And if you go by history of Olympic Games, you will discover that it was only in 1984 in Los Angeles that IOC can say that they have a return on investment. And after some time, we all know that at the beginning, participation in the Olympic Games is what concerns them. It's not about winning medals. It's not about making money. But the moment that NBA was brought into Olympics, the professionals were brought into Olympics, the eyes opened again and making money came in there. And I said, with this structure, recreational, amateur, professional, a student can come in under level 1, and at the end, at the point of graduation, rise to the level 3. He doesn't know much there. He took interest in recreational sports. He graduated to amateur sports, represented the faculty, represented the university, and going out there, and he became a professional. The structure allows for entrance in any of the 3 levels. To better understand institutional sports, we must especially and be guided by the meaningful impacts, the contribution it has to national, international development too. And we have to look at the purpose of institutional sports. What are the policy governing institutional sports? What are the personnel, the programs, the programming, planning process with strategic planning and strategic alliance and comparative and competitive advantage? What's the process? How do we, the operation? And lastly, the measurement, measuring the milestone. I have a table there, and I don't know whether you can see it there. I call it the SWOT analysis of NUGA and institutional sports. I'm going to pick 1 or 2 there, and I'm going to leave them. When we talk of the strength of institutional sports, it's located in an educational setting with all rules and ethos. It is a structured sport with defined line of governance and authority. It has a known scope. It is secured and is safe. It has targets, defined and ready-made population. You can easily measure the impact. In terms of the weakness, which are internal, weak institutional framework. The system did not so much accommodate or a bit hostile to athletes And why do I say that? Some athletes are here now participating in NUGA. By the time they get back to their campuses now, if not for ASU strike, the courses or the lectures they have missed, many lecturers will refuse to. Some of them will refuse to. And this is the problem we're having and which we need to address also. And I call it lack of enforcement policy on the rules of the term, which says every Wednesday from 2 o'clock down there, allow students to participate. Many lecturers fix their lecture at that time. And I think this NUGA will also take note of that one. How about the opportunities? The student population and diversity is good enough for talent identification. Facilities are available. Look at UNILAG now. And to draw from what we are doing now in terms of impact, legacy, and sustainability, we must give room for people outside our immediate community to make use of it. Then what are the threats? Sports brain drain, increased competitiveness. I want to benchmark NUGA with best practices now. NUGA serves as the umbrella body for institutional sports in Nigeria, just as FASU is representing Africa and FISU is representing the world body. Listen to the objective of NUGA. The major objective of NUGA includes promotion of friendship through participation in sporting activities among the university students in Nigeria, development of sports facilities in Nigeria university, enhancing and development of sports in Nigeria through contribution of elite athletes from university sports. Succinctly put, the aim of NUGA is to raise athletes in Nigerian university, creating lasting friendship among students and thereby enhancing national cohesion. I give kudos to you, but there are some things missing there. For FASU mission to promote sports excellence within the framework of university education for sustainability of both body and mind. Let's go to FISU now. What's the vision? A world where leaders of society are positively influenced by university sports experience. Listen very well. A world, that's their vision, where leaders of society, so it is not only running and jumping, are positively influenced by university sports experience. What's their mission? To provide opportunity for all students, all, not only athletes, not only university athletes, not only professional athletes, to participate in physical activity while acting for their health and thereby helping them become tomorrow's leader. And what's their value? Excellence, innovation, integrity, teamwork, joy of sports. I quoted the Secretary General for what he has said of FISU. He said, FISU is the only global organization provided by world-class international sports event to students that are at the same time supporting their academic development. 2 in 1. They are participating in sports. They are supporting their academic development. In this country, I hope a day will not come that these athletes that we are using and dumping them without taking care of their health, of their wealth, rise up against us in future because they become societal nuisance. It will not be like that. That is the Yoruba. Therefore, as the bridge between university sports and education, we believe our responsibility is towards all the millions of university students across the world and not just elite athletes. A Yoruba adage says, why counting numerically? What is after 6 is more than 7. We have 7, we have 8, we have 9. And what am I saying? Not only NUGA, not only institutional sports. Most of our focus have been win medals, win medal, win medal. After medals, what happens there? The law of diminishing return will happen to the athletes. What are they going to fall back on? And those of us who are in the position, let's go back again to the drawing board. FISU did not focus on sports alone, but engaging in other programs that are beneficial for now and future of students. Like you read in the citation there, I went for sabbatical in the University of Ottawa there. I didn't take salary. But what I enjoy most is opportunity to travel for any conference anywhere within or outside the country there. But you know one thing, I went around the various international sporting bodies too to listen to know their operation. If anybody does not have a certificate or he gets and is running for them, they make sure that after he has finished his sporting life, he goes back to school again, free. That's what they do for them. They have a plan for them. They have it's a career. So anybody who must have missed it earlier, they find a way of regaining it back. And I think we also should go back to that. And you know what they do? They give opportunity for students to connect and exchange with students from around the world. Around the world. Let me go to repositioning institutional sports for national and global impact. To reposition institutional sports and the body coordinating it is an accepted norm that there is a shortcoming which needed correction. Repositioning is a call for strategic alignment, which will promote comparative advantage and competitiveness. It is a call to make our sports system in the university campuses more diverse, inclusive, and target-driven. It is a call to add value to campus, national, and international sports. I have observed three things missing in our NUGA games and institutional sports. Even if they are present, they are not well defined. And what are they? Number one, impact. Effect of the game or sports on the immediate environment. And I want to give kudos to UNILAG. I've seen that since this NUGA have started there. Number two, legacy. What are we going to leave behind? I can point to the swimming pool. It's a big legacy for University of Lagos. The third one is sustainability. Koja was held in 2003, and thank God Professor Moraki, all the big people here, they are present there. But when you go to that national stadium now, it has lost the glory. And here we are, on the 26th, everybody say bye-bye. The issue of sustainability, don't mind me, I kept on referring to the swimming pool. But not only the swimming pool now, with the likes of Ogunade and Co. I'm working with NUGA too, and I'm aware the Secretary General of NUGA, Mr. Rodele, is also there. In 2015, I'm part of the delegate for UNESCO conference in France there. And you know, that was the time that a day was set aside, World University Day. And that's the 28th of September of every year. And I did it, I made it possible with Mr. Rodele. We were planning something there too. So I want to tell UNILAG that the issue of sustainability will be solved. How? There will be a program that will be brought to UNILAG that will make us to continue to use the facility and get something back there. The president of NUGA, I don't know whether the admin secretary is here, the management of UNILAG. Many a times we run into a problem. And what was the problem? We look at sports generally as a cost center. Cost center. You know what I mean by a cost center? You're only pouring money there. It's not giving money back to you. And therefore, we must break the Dead Sea Syndrome. Must be broken. The Yoruba said, you always say, bring it, bring it, bring it. What are you giving out to as from now henceforth? I'm appealing to NUGA, to those in institutions, that we must become a profit center. And we must start with UNILAG. After the tartan track, we have the fence they are constructing now. Let them construct it, finish. Let's look for the first time how you are going to bring a game to UNILAG. That students, not only students, people from outside will pay before they get in. They will pay. And how do you do it? Thank God my HOD is there. He's a marketing guru. To attract students, it's not difficult. there's going to be an inbuilt mechanism. Whatever you are asking them to pay, you are putting a promotion there. And something's going to attract them. So what I'm saying is this. So all our institutions too, not only UNILAG, let's find a way whereby some have come here. I am telling you, before they get the money to come to NUGA, it's a problem. But if the moment that you're also contributing to the pause, not only taking the money for the pause, things we do, things will change. And that's what I want to encourage us to do. And things we started changing. So for UNILAG now, as for the impact, congratulations. As for legacy, congratulations. As for sustainability, I say congratulations. And why am I saying that? At the beginning of this paper, I said UNILAG 2026 NUGA has changed the narratives of NUGA. You have become a reference point, best practice to benchmark with. First on in 2013, while delivering the 51st last inaugural lecture with the title Sports, a Tree of Life and Death. The difference is in the management. Stated that our sport has to be value-driven, target-driven, development-driven, health-driven, result-oriented, medal-driven, people, stakeholders. And I want to congratulate UNILAG on that one too. Stakeholders. That's what I brought Amid Adio and Ugwade here now. And many of them there too. Investment and business-driven, professional and athlete development-driven, spiritual and ethical-driven. Pertinent question to guide repositioning effort. Where are we before? Where are we before? Where are we now? Where are we going to? What do we need to get there? How can we be sure that we are going to get there? How can we ensure sustainability and continuity? Then, how do we measure the success which we have attained? How do we reposition institutional sports? Why not demeaning the gain of NUGA? We have to create avenue to make NUGA great and institutional sports. This will become a reality if the following steps are taken into consideration. Number one, reinvigorate the personnel and change the operational mechanism to reflect the present day business model without necessarily affecting the products. Peter Joker, writing on managing the public service institution, identify three popular explanations for the failure of public service organizations. Number one, their managers aren't business-like. Number two, they need better people. And number three, their objectives are intangible. You can't easily measure it. And I know many of us know that acronym now, SMART. He stated further, the service organization, like institutional sports, sports council, sports center, etc. there, has performance trouble, precisely not a business. And you can attest to that. You are not running business, it's not a business. Why being business-like usually mean in a service institution is little more than control of cost. What characterizes a business, however, is focus on result, return on capital, and share of market, and so on. For institutional sports to thrive, it has to be more competitive and must attract investment. If marketers want to come in to aid us, to assist us, and people from the private sector, private sports institutions are coming in, who should they pick first? They should pick institutional sports first. But if we're not competitive, if there's no mileage for what they are giving to us, they will go elsewhere there. And what am I recommending? We need to start looking at the structure of NUGA and institutional sports. We must employ people with business mind and background to help as chief executive officer, chief finance officer, marketing officers, public relations officers, business development manager, and corporate affairs manager. This setup will not annul, underline, the NUGA Council. It will remain, but the secretary or the CEO and the officers will be distinct from the council. and they will report to the council through the CEO. That's what I'm recommending. There's no way we can break even here. I saw the advertisement for the new secretary to NUGA. I went through it. And the first one there, it says he must have a degree in physical education. I'm not opposed to that one, but that should not be the only thing. And I'm aware today that Professor Mizotiwa is around here. For many years, I gave her a paper there, and I said there is a need for us to redefine the concept and the status of physical and health education. There is no way we can key in this current global best practices if our curriculum does not include business, financing. No. I'm going to use myself, so I'm in the category too. Even though I came for a master's in industrial relations and personnel management here in 1992. In 2012, University of Lagos hosted ECO 2012, National Sports Festival. I sat down in my office there. I wrote a proposal for one-day international conference for them. I wrote it in the normal academic way. What's the rationale? What's the objective? What are the content, operation, every other thing. I put them there. I sent it. Dr. Tando, I don't think he's here. I sent it to them. By the time I'm going to get a response from them, the response was from a woman. They gave it back to a woman. And the woman turned the paper to a project that has community relevance, impact. And the first question in the mail sent to her is, did you study physical education? He said no. And you know what they did? They made me the technical director. And he became the financial director, and Tando became the overall boss there. Do you know where I'm going to? I was able to bring in Dr. Jordan, the CEO for 2010 World Cup in Johannesburg. And I brought in some other people from abroad there. You know what I'm trying to say? So what stops me also of developing that thing as a project? And therefore, some of these weaknesses, we have to look at it there too. If there's any, and I'm going to challenge some of us here today too, my colleagues. I don't have a problem before. I'm not trying to add to my problem. Dr. Emerua studied physical and health education. As I'm talking to you now, is the head of security for the African Cup Federation in Egypt there. He went and got another qualification. And that's why he's serving there too. So I want to appeal to my colleagues there too. If we're going to reposition sports, I'm going to give you a good example, very practical example. Nigeria Football Federation, when they were at Ogunsanya there, they were running these games. IGI, an insurance company, what did he do? He bought a game from them, an international game, 3 million. So he's in charge of venue, in charge of security, in charge of every other thing. So there's no periphery of office, nobody comes in without paying. After one day match, they made 7-point-something million. And NFL, what does he say? We're not giving it to you again. They went and created their own marketing division. That if an organization can make this money in one day, they can also make it. So that's the challenge I'm giving to my colleagues there, and most especially the chairman of NUGA there. One big question we need to ask under this arrangement is, what is the focus? What should be the focus of the new NUGA and institutional sports? The answer is not far-fetched. It should be financial autonomy. I pity the vice chancellor and the chief. Look at the way they were going all about. Going to governors, going to this, going to that. But can I tell you one thing? And this is practical. We had a conference in University of Ilorin, and thank God Dr. Adisa Anko, you are here. And I was also the lead paper presenter there. And I asked a question from the students there. I said, how many of you can afford 200 naira every month to contribute to sports? Come and see some of them raising up their hand. So if they contribute 200 naira per month, what would that be in a year? They multiply how many students? While going for that paper, I did some calculation. I said if NFA or any of these organizations with Nigerian population of 200 million, if you can have a supporters club, fund base of 5 million, just 5 million, and they are paying 1 million in a month. In a year, we pay 12,000 naira. 1,000. It's very cheap now. At the end of the year, how much are we going to get from that 5 million? We calculated it. That was 60 billion naira. 60 billion. UNILAG, I was asking of, because of this paper, I was asking for population yesterday. You look at the way they've been describing you. Man, we are proud of you. But you know what I'm trying to say? The time has come for us to change the methodology, to change the narrative. And how do we do that? Engage these students. Empower these students when it comes to leadership in sports. The sports center is there. Very good. How many, do your analysis. How many students participate in sports? There are very few. But when you ask them to organize within themselves and begin to form clubs, go and write it down. We are trying to organize a workshop now. I've discussed with NUGA president. Go and write it down. They will be feeding the sports center. They will give you money. You know one thing, some athletes, some students run away because they feel sports there is only for competition. No. Their own area, they cannot compete, but they are interested in doing one thing there. And look at the support, they came all over yesterday to support UNILAG team. Yes, that's what we are trying to say, motivate them. But the best way to motivate them, through social media, and using the student, empower the student to take the leadership of the, let there be hockey sports club among the students. Let them take their own officers among themselves. Do that one for them. They will give you money. Some of their parents are rich. If one of them says, I am the chairman of this, and the parent, they are there to collect money, I am telling you, they will remit some of this money back to you. Please, let's empower them, and we are going to get there. I can assure you of that one. Number 2 there is enhance student sports and game, women capacity building, identification of involvement of stakeholders. I give kudos to UNILAG too. Alumni, parents, community leaders, business community, university contractors, and university contractors. I mentioned it too. They cannot just be taking money all the way there now. And let there be any percentage. They are giving to what? They are giving to sports there too. The students themselves. We need policies that will protect or guide our academic program of student athletes. Okay. Student athletes. Create an harmonized calendar for NUGA. I'm pleading with NUGA to do that one there too. And not only that, empower the student. Look at it now. We have people from mass communication. They can help us with publicity, engineering, marketing, science, communication, art. Involve physiology. Let them come and help us with testing our athletes there too. There is a need to reposition for economic stability. Because of my time, repositioning institutional sports through branding. NUGA and institutional sports are brands which are good enough to attract economic gain and corporate assistance, as in the case with advanced countries of Europe and North America. Institutional branding can go alone. Institutional, UNILAG has a name. It can go alone. But nevertheless, when we combine it with sports branding, it goes a long way. And I can tell you, this is what is happening outside the country. This is UNILAG has a name, even the logo itself. And we're having one athlete, very good, and you are putting the portrait of that athlete alongside with UNILAG. I can tell you many more students will come in, and we can have sports and university enrollment. And that's what it happens in Texas, and it can also happen anywhere there too. What are the steps in repositioning institutional sports? Internal and external assessments, authenticate and find out from them what they have come back with, develop an action plan, and develop a new position with a sellable statement of proposition, and present this to the public and make implementation there too. Because of my time, I'm going to go back to the conclusion now. In conclusion, repositioning of institutional sports and NUGA has been suggested now. It's not a wishful thinking. It is a clarion call to all and sundry of the need to remain relevant and move with the current trend in sports development nationally and globally. There is a need to look at the foundation of institutional sports and NUGA, rejuvenate it, reinforce where there is structural disequilibrium. I have no doubt within me that this is a task we can accomplish. If we keep on organizing sports at tertiary level the way it ought to be done, through repositioning, rather than being unnecessarily conservative, we are bound to achieve better results. NUGA, or institutional sports, should no longer be a jamboree. Maybe we need to ask the question, after UNILAG 2020 NUGA, what's next? What are students, coaches, and administrators going back with? Those who did not win laurel, what would they say they have gained? We need to equip them with something to go back with. What impact has this gained on UNILAG communities, immediate environment, and Lagos City? Have you heard of one-day economy? Our sports is transforming host community. If we are not there yet, we shall get there. Thanks so much for listening, and God bless you.
Another round of applause for Professor Clement Oluseun Faso, fellow Nigerian Society of Sports Management, speaking on the theme, repositioning institutional sports for excellent national and global impact. Distinguished guest seated here, yours truly is not a proponent of mathematics, but I love money mathematics. I took stock of the presentation of Professor Faso. He spoke for 46 minutes, 38 seconds. Let's give him a round of applause. He started his presentation at 11:07 a.m. and ended at 11:52 a.m. A round of applause for Professor Faso. Before we do a quick presentation, let me quickly run through some of the dignitaries we have here. Dean Faculty of Dental Sciences, Professor Oluranti Da Costa, a round of applause for her. Professor Lawal Are, thank you very much for coming. Professor Yakasai is here, thank you very much for coming, the Chairman Technical Committee. Professor Adepo Jubelo, Dean Faculty of Pharmacy. Dr. Koka, Director Medical Center. The project lead, Mr. Idris Olorunibe, thank you very much for coming. Mr. Babatunde Ogunade, your presence is highly appreciated. Professor Adeyemi Awopetu, the alternate chair for UNILAG participation. Ashe Professor Mayowa Adeyeye, the HOD of Human Kinetics and Health Education. Professor Wale Okunuga, Registrar and CEO of Joint University Preliminary Examination Board. Dr. Taiwo Folashade Ipaye, FNIM, Director Andri. Professor Ismail Musa, the Chief Imam, University of Lagos Mosque. At this juncture, I'd like to call on Professor Ayodele Ashenua to please help us do a quick presentation to the keynote speaker, Professor Clement Oluseun Faso. A round of applause for Professor Ashenua.
Professor Clement Oluseun Faso, on behalf of the University of Lagos
On behalf of NUGA, it is my pleasure and a delight, and this is not cliche because of the quality of keynotes that you presented. It is like a strategy for the repositioning of NUGA. It is workable immediately. You're not recommending that we need to go and develop a strategy. You actually gave us a workable strategy. And so it is with the greatest appreciation that I, on behalf of the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference, present this appreciation award to you for serving as the keynote speaker at the conference this 23rd day of March 2022.
Another round of applause for Professor Ayodele Ashenua, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services, and the alternate chair for the LOC. Thank you for that presentation, and to members of this level table, thank you very much for joining in that presentation. Just very quickly and swiftly, owing to exigency of time, I want to respectfully invite to the podium, just for 2 minutes, he is the representative of the Honorable Minister for Youth, Sports, Development, Chief Sunday Akindari, ably represented here by Mrs. Adaku Onwachuku. A round of applause for her. For 2 minutes, we do this.
To deliver the goodwill message by the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dari, at the opening ceremony of 26th NUGA Scientific Conference, this Wednesday, 23rd March 2022. All protocols duly observed. With an utmost sense of responsibility, I am delighted to welcome great academicians and accomplished intellectuals from within and outside the shores of this great country to this scientific conference. I feel so highly privileged to be able to offer this goodwill message to this august congregation of the Scientific Conference of 26th NUGA, UNILAG 2022. The scientific conference preceding major sports competitions of this magnitude is a new wave in proffering scientific solutions to various issues, mitigating against excellence in sports administration and management globally. And I'm glad that Nigeria is not left behind in this new move that seeks to blend scholarly qualities and quantitative analysis to resolving the myriad of challenges bedeviling the sports sector of our national economy. It may interest you to note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that some of the recommendations of the Scientific Conference of Edo 2020 has assisted the current administration in forging a policy direction for our sports. This implies that the significance of a forum of intellectuals of this nature cannot be overemphasized. Permit me, Mr. Chairman, to congratulate the organizers for the adopted theme of the conference, which is repositioning institutional sports for excellent national and global impact. This is considered apt with today's socio-economic realities in Nigeria. The present administration has successfully reclassified sports from being mere recreation to business and has initiated policies toward attracting private sector investment in sports. We believe strongly that running sports as a profitable business in Nigeria is both feasible and sustainable. We are already moving in the right direction. I first wish to charge participants at this conference to come up with achievable and sustainable developmental policy directions aimed at projecting our sports talents in various academic institutions to international podium finishes without jeopardizing their academic goals. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish you very fruitful deliberations and a happy NUGA Games. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, the representative of the Honorable Minister. Thank you for your goodwill, ma'am. Would like to appreciate our University of Lagos Women's Society team here present. They have been actively involved in the NUGA event from the inception, ably led by the wife of our Vice Chancellor, Mrs. Oluwaseun Ogundipe. We love you, ma'am. Please, you won't stop clapping. If you love our mommies in the house, keep clapping. We have also Mrs. Familoni, keep clapping. Mrs. Okay, and other members of the University of Lagos Women's Society. Thank you very much for being a part of the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference and the entire NUGA event. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. John Iniobong. In the light of recognition, I want to give a big recognition to the University of Lagos students and the Nigerian students by extension. But more importantly, great Akokites! Great Akokites! Greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest Akokites! Thank you. The last, before we pause for speeches, I'd like to bring on stage a representative of FISU and the Secretary General of FASU, all the way from Uganda, Dr. Penina Aligawesa Kabenge. FASU Secretary General and a member of FISU. And for 120 seconds without extra time, she'll be talking to us. And in the words of Frank Edor, those days in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, he will say, your time starts.
A good morning, everyone. All protocol observed. I don't want to mess up anything. It's really a pleasure for me to be here at the University of Lagos and to join everyone at this 26th NUGA Scientific Conference. I want to thank NUGA for inviting me. I had to take on this opportunity as the Secretary General of FASU and the Vice President of FISU. I had to be here to witness firsthand this conference and also the NUGA Games. I want to wish the organizers and everyone here today good deliberation in the conference, and I want to wish each and every participant of the NUGA Games. I come from Uganda, from the very famous Makerere University, and we are planning to host the African edition of the Sports, Health and Dance Conference sometime this year. When you get my invitation, please just make sure you are in Makerere, Kampala, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. I'm here to observe, see how things are done in this part of the continent, more especially that NUGA is bidding to host the FASU Games in 2024. Good luck, everyone. And yeah, we will interact. I'm here up to Monday. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, the representative of FISU. We are happy that you are part of the NUGA event, and particularly the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference. Thank you very much. Let's give a warm applause once again. At this time, would like everyone who in the past or presently from any institution have represented NUGA as an athlete, maybe when you were in the university, maybe you are now a professor, or maybe you had done this before you started working. If you had participated in NUGA, we want to recognize you. We want to celebrate you. NUGA is here because of you. Can you please stand? If at any point from any university, anywhere in the world, you can see our lecturers. Come on, give it up for our professors. Come on, give it up for our students from other universities. Even the students from other universities, wow, this is amazing. Please keep clapping, keep clapping. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. This is also streamed live on UNILAG Nigeria, courtesy the communication unit. Thank you very much, the entire team, for doing this for us. NAFA SD, Professor Jeff Okpaku, VP1, you're highly recognized. Thank you very much. I listened to Dr. Penina Aligawesa Kabenge, and I just remember those good old days when we were at the University of Chambogo in Uganda with the national cricket team of Nigeria. Thank you very much. We appreciate you for coming to Nigeria. At this juncture, we take a pause for everything speeches. And we want to sit back, relax. I told you before, just in case you came in late, in the words of Michael Beckley, there are three categories of people in life. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and the others, they watch and wonder how these things do happen. We pride ourselves at the University of Lagos, the University of First Choice and the nation's pride. The only institution
I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah, yeah.
We are the champions. We are the
action. Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! NUGA Games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks, get set. The 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
2022 games live on YouTube at UNILAG on TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, under a very wonderful ambience as we present to you the dance group called XBEM Dance Group, Faculty of Education, Department of Youth, Kinetics and Health Education. And I wish you all a happy viewing.
Productions. One morning I woke and I asked myself, who am I? Well, I said, I am Esther the Queen. And the voice came again asking, who am I? Then I heard this voice saying,
you are beautiful. You are smart. You are funny. You are kind. You are unique. You are worthy of love and affection. You are never too much, and you are always enough. You are precious. You are a diamond, a rose, a pearl, the most stunning of all God's creation. You are worth more than you could ever imagine. Worth more than the numbers on the scale, or the hair product you use, or the shoes you wear. More than how many girls wish they were you, or how many guys wish they had you. More than the price tags on your clothes, or the percentage at the top of your math test, or even the number of followers you have on Twitter. Your worth surpasses all earthly things, because in the eyes of the Lord God, you are loved, and you are worth dying for. Regardless of who you think you are, whether you model in a magazine or you model pottery with grandma, whether you're on the hot list or the not list, whether you're a head cheerleader or a high school dropout, whether you're Miss Popular or you've never had anyone you could call a friend, whether you love yourself and love your life, or you can't stand to look in the mirror and you feel as if everything in your life is falling apart, whether you're such a winner or you feel like the world's biggest failure, regardless of who you think you are. The reality is that you deserve someone who would give up their life for you, because you are powerful and strong and capable. Read about the women in the Bible: Esther, Ruth, Martha, Mary. These women changed the world forever. And inside of you, each and every one of you is a woman with that same power and that same strength and that same world-changing capability. And your responsibility is to find that woman and to set that woman free. This is who you are. And any voices in your mind that try and tell you differently are from the enemy. And the next time you hear dreams, this is what you say. You say, "Nuh-uh, not me, Satan. I am a daughter of the living God, cherished, loved, and adored above all things by the Creator of all things, for the glory of Him who is greater than all things. I am awesome." And please, don't you forget it.
I trust you can give it up for them. You can do it louder and better. And something interesting about this presentation is a very deep question. Who are you? Who are you? And what value do you bring? They just demonstrated that they believe they know, we know who we are. I hope that we'll take these lessons and drill it down deeper. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, let's give it up for the dance troupe who have just awed us with their excellent presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. John Iniobong. That was an excellent presentation from XBEM Group. And I just remembered what he told us about gymnastics. The definition is the naked act of rolling, vaulting, and somersaulting. That was super from the XBEM dance group. Let's give them a round of applause once again. At this juncture, I'd like to respectfully invite Dr. Joseph Awoifa the Executive Secretary of our own NUGA, to please give us the vote of thanks. And in his words, he will always tell you, ES reporting.
Praise the Lord. The Bible made it abundantly clear to us that in every situation we should give thanks. And it is on that note I want to return all glory to Almighty God. I want to start this vote of thanks by appreciating our amiable Vice Chancellor and his dynamic management team. If your hand is not too busy, can you please help me put your hands together for this wonderful management team. I wouldn't want to bore you with rhetorics, but I need to say that we have a dynamic, energetic, sport-loving. Maybe the other word she forgot to add is that he's a winning Vice Chancellor. Let's put our hands together for our amiable Vice Chancellor. I want to appreciate all the principal officers, not in any hierarchy now, but it may interest you to know that among the 3 DVC that we have, the 3 of them are chairmen of one committee and the other, despite their tight schedule. Please help me put your hands together for them. I want to recognize our amiable Bossa. Thank you for approving any budget that comes from NUGA office. There's one man I want to appreciate here openly, and that is the president of NUGA. We got the hosting right of NUGA on the 8th of June, 2018. And as of that time, the Honorable Minister for Sport in this country happens to come from the state that we are contesting with. That's University of Jos. And I knew what went behind door. But I kept monitoring this man. If he goes out to ease himself, I will follow him. And he tells me, he said, I said, sir, I have the mandate of Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe that I must not return from Abuja to Lagos without the hosting right letter of NUGA. And he said, I was not AS then. I was just the acting director of sport. I said, acting director of sport, University of Lagos. Relax, I'm going to do justice. And this man, without being biased, gave us what belongs to us. Because after defeating University of Jos with 76 votes to 66 votes, they still said, no, we have to put it to vote. It has never happened in the history of NUGA. That after winning the hosting right, the next thing is to give you your letter of hosting. And they said, no, that we must put it into vote. I look at this man's face, and I said, is the table going to turn? He just did his hand like this. I said, relax. And to the glory of God, it went into voting, and yet, University of Lagos. Professor Steve Amafietu, you are a nationalist, and I want to appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir. I want to appreciate Mr. Orodele, who has been NUGA secretary even when I was in the university as undergraduate student. Mr. Orodele ruled that office for 42 years. Please, let's put our hands together for him. He has retired now, but I must tell you, I have the privilege of tapping from your wealth of knowledge when I was privileged to sleep on the same bed with you at University of Mekele in Ethiopia. I didn't allow him to sleep. We are hosting NUGA. And my vice chancellor says he wants to host the best NUGA in the history of Nigeria. What will it take? Mr. Rodele, please stand up for recognition. Thank you very much for the beautiful service you did. I want to quickly appreciate all the spouses of our amiable principal officers, most especially our mommy, that I call the first lady of this great institution. Thank you for all those night calls. She will call me and say, yes, call this person, he's my friend. Call this person, he's my friend. Call this person. Call the deputy governor and ask her, what is he going to give to her? Let's put our hands together for Mommy Ogundipe. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot end this vote of thanks without appreciating our alternate chair, Professor Victoria Ayodele Ashenwa. Let's put our hands together. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for putting your professionalism into bear, for that chastising, for correction, and for ensuring that we got it right. Ladies and gentlemen, without being biased, I want to single-handedly recognize my teacher, the man who has just given the keynote. And so when you see where I'm coming from, This is the man who produced the like of myself, Professor Moromfolu, and also Professor Ogunshemore. Back then, sir, you will tell us, you will recognize what we are putting into you now until you get to the field. And he asked me one question, first class that we are meeting him. You will receive lecture before they give you question. For my teacher, it is question before lecture. And they say administration is administration, discourse. Administration is administration, discourse. And he will ask myself and Ogushe More to go to ASCON. And we'll be there in ASCON from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I want to thank you very much, sir, that you are still there. And even in the course of carrying out this assignment, all those night calls, sir, we are faced with this. How do we come across it? And he will just text me. Please help me put your hands together for my teacher.
I'm gonna wake up the mama,
The chairman of the University of Lagos Council, our amiable Professor Adekunle, who also double as the leader of our prayer warrior. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing I want all of us to take home today is that of your own, you can do nothing. Everything you see that people are saying, marvelous, good now, is as a result of prayer. There are some prayer warrior. Professor Mrs. Otinwa, thank you. Dr. Mrs. Adewumi, thank you. Please let's put our hands together for these wonderful people. I want to also recognize in absentia Odofin Adewumi Ogunsanya, the MD CEO, multi-choice, for the wonderful job he did. You will note that even the NUGA president attested to it, that the medal that we are giving out now is the best in the history of NUGA game in Nigeria. Those medals were imported from the United States of America, paid free by this man. He does not call the university any money. Let's put our hands together for Odofin Adewumi Ogunsanya. I also want, if they are in our midst, Uncle Babs Ogunade to please stand up for recognition, and Sister Tayo, please stand up for recognition if you are here. We got our NUGA ambassador through Uncle Babs. Thank you very much. I also want to specially recognize one gentleman in our midst. He's a barrister at law, Barrister Idris Olorunibe, our project lead. Please help me put our hands together for that wonderful man. Very amiable, very distinct. He was the personal assistant to Fashola for 8 years. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you very much, Mr. Idris Olorunibe. On a final note, I want to appreciate Professor Mrs. G.O. Tinwa. You are noted for quality, and you are one of those people I look at as a mirror. I'm not surprised that you are putting this together. Thank you for the efforts. Thank you for the prayer backing. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for believing in me that together we can do this thing. I want to appreciate all members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for coming. And I want to say that tomorrow we are going to, because we tagged this NUGA city game, about 3 KBACs will be expecting us tomorrow. And we have designated 2 buses that will take people to KBACs, the Oniru of Iru, ably led by Barrister Olorunibe Idris. The vehicle will be leaving at 8 a.m. in the morning. And we also want to appreciate Professor Iyola Oni for making this bus available. It will interest you that Lagos State is backing us up very well. They gave us 12 free luxurious buses to use for this exercise. We need to appreciate them. On a final note, I want to say thank you for all your efforts. Thank you for the interest. We are going to be having the closing ceremony on Saturday. And there will be no football match on Saturday. The football match will be on Friday. Reason being that the stage we want to use for football match on Saturday, what you saw at the opening will be a child play to what is going to be mounted on that field on Saturday. Please enjoy yourself, and I want to wish you all journey mercies to your various homes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, DJ Jimmy Joe. Please bring it down. That was awesome from Dr. Joseph Awoifa, Executive Secretary of NUGA, speaking glowingly about people who have made an impact in his life. I want to respectfully recognize Ashe Professor Mercy Onwama, my supervisor at undergraduate level. Thank you very much, ma. She always tells me, Shiwajidagba, I give you assignment, you don't do it. You get clean 0/20. And Professor Otiwa in our own usual way will say, Ajidagba, I will mold you. I will change you. You will your attendance. Sholofe ni wagoro. Succinctly, she said those things and he sings. Thank you very much, ma, for all you have done. I'm Professor Clement Fason. Let me just leave it at that. Papa ne. On video, on kokon. Oh, Gamu, Buberian theory. They don't know it. Wow. Professor Ayodele Ashenua, DVC Development Services and the alternate chair for the LOC will be making a presentation to people who have done excellently well in making the 26th Nigerian University Games scientific conference. But again, the games, people have been loving it. They said it's reminiscent of what you see at the Olympics, and Thomas Bach is proud of UNILAG. Thank you very much. The representative of Imperial and Pepsi, are they here? Yes, please step on stage. Imperial and Pepsi.
Well, while they're coming up, let me quickly note, a lot has been said about getting corporate support for institutional sports. And we're particularly glad at the roles that these particular organizations have played. They have not just supported the games, but they have also supported this conference. And we are so glad. We're proud of you. We're proud of what it is that you have done. We believe that you are offering the template for what the future is. I have told the president of NUGA many times, and I've introduced some people to him, and I've said, grab them. It's not just about them hosting, it's not just about them supporting NUGA, hosted by University of Lagos. It's about you getting them to be the sponsors, corporate sponsors of NUGA, at least for the next few years to come, if not forever, as this earth tarries. And so on behalf of the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference, it is my pleasure to present to you the representative of Pepsi, this certificate of appreciation. Thank you for accepting to refresh us at the conference, in addition to how you have refreshed us even at the games, generally speaking. We look forward to Pepsi continuing to support institutional sports in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Imperial, thank you so very much. I don't know what to say about Imperial. They actually came here themselves. They met with me in my office. They told me what it was that they were ready to do. Yes, the 26th Scientific Conference is recognizing them, but I need to say that Imperial provided all toiletries and a number of all those things you see on their banner for athletes. And as some athletes got the booty bag containing some of these things. Thank you for your foresight. Thank you for your support. And on behalf of the 26th NUGA Scientific Conference, it is my pleasure to present to you this certificate of appreciation.
Thank you, Imperial. Thank you, Pepsi, for your support. And I'm sure to our wonderful students who are blessing us with their presence at this scientific conference, you get to have lots of packages have been lined out for you. Let me also use this medium to recognize someone I adore so much in sports. The first sports radio station in Nigeria and in Africa. We call him simply Double Doctor, Dr. Larry Izamoji. Please, we appreciate you. And I remember those good old days. Big Larry. Yes, we are reporting from the height of the mine, 634, Adia Malakija, the penthouse. Tell them I told you. I'm telling you now that I've been following you for several years. God bless you, Big Larry. Dr. Uchenna Udiani. Professor Uchenna Udiani. We can't thank you enough. This is a wonderful venue that you have provided for us. Thank you so very much, ma. The director, Distant Learning Institute. Thank you so very much. We'll pause for a while, but we'll allow our students to remain seated here. There's something I have in stock for you, but the management, the panelists, and members of this level table would exit the hall alongside the Women's Society and some of our deans that are here, but they will be back because this set of people are here to give us amazing session that you don't want to miss. So we'd like to say this first session has ended. We'll reconvene for the second session very quickly, just for 5 minutes, and then we'll be back as we have amazing panelists that will be doing justice to several topics. Thank you once again, the management. Thank you, everyone that has come here. We'll be back in the next 5-7 minutes.
We gotta wake it. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh, mama, yeah.
We are the champions. We are the
We gotta
Action. Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! NUGA games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks, get set. The 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
I see you, the director of CITS. Dr. Florence Oladeji, director of CITS. I see my uncle, Mr. Babatino Ogwade, Vice President, Nigerian Basketball Federation, and a member of the LOC and Team UNILAG participation. DJ Jimmy Joe, let them move. Oshakun Obakan.
The NUGA 2022 games live on YouTube at UNILAG on TV.
Action. Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! NUGA games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks, get set. The 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
What's poppin'? Welcome back. This What's poppin'? Welcome back. This is still G Sport on UNILAG.
Welcome back. It's still at the Nuruddin Alao Auditorium where we're having the 26th Nigerian University Games NUGA Scientific Conference. For every NUGA hosting, there is always a convergence of the town and gown. They will come alive to bring up critical issues around sport development in Nigeria and better ways to actually solve these problems. And of course, it's been a really big day, and we had an interesting theme: repositioning institutional sports for excellent national and global impact. There's so much that is to be talked about with regards to this topic. A whole lot of sub-teams. We have several discussants. He's a star cast, by the way. And here with me, I'll be joined by one man who has been in the news for the right reasons in Nigerian sports. He is the first to actually own a radio station that talks only sports in Nigeria and of course in Africa. It's my pleasure to bring to you on this audience Dr. Larry Izamoje. My honor to have you here, sir.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Larry Izamoje, there's been so much we've heard and we've listened to today. I know there's a whole lot of discussions to come afterwards, but what are our take home from this particular event?
Well, to show that the world is now a global village, to show that you cannot carry on doing sports without integrating digitization, to show clearly that through scientific methods, people get better. If you take the athlete, for example, food and nutrition, through this kind of seminar, you know what to eat. You know what will make you perform better. You know the kind of softwares to use for training purposes. And so this kind of conference opens people to the latest technology, to the latest methods in achieving better sports performances. And so that's why we're all here today.
One thing is almost certain. We have a lot of problems in Nigerian sports, and football is the opium without doubt. I have taken my time as a young sport journalist to hear you speak on several forums, and there's been in the two cases of age falsification. This year's event brought us something very different and remarkable at that, because we know that we went through into the nursery, we went into the database to ensure that there's no issue of age falsification, and so far since we commenced, that has actually been held well. I want to say that it's a very good innovation, and I know you are also a strong member of this committee. How exactly can we place this side by side to other sports in terms of when you look at age falsification, when you look at athletes, you know, using drugs and all of, because I saw within these confines the NDLEA officials, and it's a way to actually stem all these problems. But what are the ways, the routes that we can use to tide, or to stem this tide rather? What are the things you think we could do?
Yeah, number one, I'll say the family, because that is the starting point. Charity, they say, begins at home, and therefore good knowledge, becoming the good citizen, must start at home. And then two, we should shame or punish, like VADA does, sporting bodies do, shame those who you discover go through the wrong routes by spiking their systems with hard drugs. And then two, use digital devices, use anything you have to expose them so that others will learn from it. Above that, those who have not attempted it, use this kind of conference. We're talking about how not to spike your system with negative things. And so use what we get from this conference to show that at the end of the day, you win a gold medal, a silver or a bronze, and you get suspended. What have you gained? Again, to pull together government agencies, international agencies, working with them that can help check everyone who is about coming into NUGA or who is participating, so that at the end of the day, those who win truly and win fairly and are rightly decorated.
Absolutely right, sir. But final word before you go, sir. I know that you've had your positives around this particular event, particularly as a great alumnus of this institution, and one we all respect, one we all appreciate. What do you think should be the best way to actually, unearth talent? I know this is a big springboard, but what other areas do you think? Because everybody's focus is on football. We want to also do well in other sports. We've seen swimmers, emerge, doing so well, competitions among private universities and some notable institutions who are known for swimming and other things. What are the things you think we can do to enhance these, platform of, unearthing talents? Which other things do you think we can do to assist government in that?
Well, I'll give you an example. Ronaldo is a known footballer, and beyond himself, Ronaldo is now training his own son. And so it goes back to the family. Let's go the Ronaldo way. Parents, teach your children. Tell them what to eat. Know what is good for health. And after that, you go to school sports. As they go to schools, do not change the curriculum. Don't change it. In those days when we were in school, every evening, 5 to 6:30, we had games. Who are the games masters today? Town planners must also look at how to plan cities and allow for sporting parks where people can take to sports. And so it becomes the culture of the people. If you look at most American presidents, they like cycling or juggling. Some play basketball. It is something they learned from the beginning. What do we teach our children when they are small, when they are in quotes, when they are in their formative years? Because those are the things that will guide you when you grow bigger. And so look at the primary schools, look at the secondary schools, revive school sports. That becomes the person that takes the baton from the family. And then when they get to the NUGA level, it's just about polishing them, showing them a few things, and Nigeria will be the best for it.
At the very nascent years of the introduction of digitalization in sport, there were a lot of controversy, there were a lot of issues, but some, sport journalists, some sport pundits actually argue for and some against. They were not so sure if we should involve computer into sports. But some, of course, lay claims that the inclusion of computer digitization in sport will further help to stem the tide of controversy and errors in football. That we've seen today. And Dr. Larry Zamoje, one of the discussants today, will be talking about digitization in sports and a whole of other issues that are affiliated to that. You can, of course, catch them all of this and many more when we have our breakout sessions at the 26th Nigerian University game. It's been a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. It's still the 26th edition of the Nigerian University Games Scientific Conference, where we are having the glitterati of stars. People are, of course, talking to us. A lot of persons are actually giving, insight as to how we can change the narrative around sport development in Nigeria. It's been a massive one so far here at the University of Lagos, at the Nuruddin Alawo Auditorium of the Distance Learning Institute of our great center of learning. We'll take it away from here and we'll be back again with more.
We want to bring Professor Leshi, we must also Leshi.
We are the champions. We are the
Action. Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! NUGA Games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks, get set. The 26th edition of NUGA Games is here.
UNILAG NUGA.
We gotta wake it. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh, mama, yeah.
You're welcome back. It's still the 26th edition of the Nigerian University Games, and one of the major headlines, or one of the headlining events of this 26th edition is the NUGA Scientific Conference. Like I did say to you earlier, we are having a convergence of the town and gown. Stakeholders from every part of the country converge here at the Nuruddin Alaw Auditorium of the Distance Learning Institute of this great citadel of learning to bring to you ideas and, of course, possible solutions, more like a leeway as to how we could solve Nigeria's innate problems around sport. Of course, we can't talk about sport without the medical part of sports. And here with me, one man who's all the headlines for the right reasons at the 26th edition of the NUGA is Professor Afolabi Leshi. We started off by saying that we're going to have the NCDC and the Lagos State Ministry of Health, converge here and, of course, ensure that we lay everything right in ensuring that we stem the tide of COVID-19 spread. And that has been done. That has actually been effective and efficiently delivered. I want to ask him one big question: how he's been able to achieve all of that with his team?
Well, with cooperation of everybody, all the stakeholders, and as been said, drawing all the skills and these competencies of various health professionals have made it possible. Doctors, physiotherapists, nurses, volunteers, our students in all the programs, from human kinetics to physiotherapy to MBBS to pharmacy, pharmacology, all of them have come together to deliver a well-run games where our presence is all over the place, to attend to needs, health needs of people. And as you mentioned, the first thing was to screen over 6,000 athletes and officials for COVID-19. And one can say that one is very happy because that's the only way you can have safe games. And of course, ensuring that people are still complying, masking up, sanitizing, and as much as possible, keeping social distancing. But that's been very challenging. But we hopefully there will be no outbreak of COVID-19 from these games.
What will be your own take home so far with the competition in its entirety? Yes, we've been able to talk about just one part of this whole event in terms of arrangement, medicals. I'm sure there are other involvement, like we heard from the keynote speaker, from the area of media, from security, from facilities. A lot has been deposited into this for us to have this kind of arrangement. But what will be your own take home in the end?
I think it has been teamwork. If there's one take home, that when you have people working together as a team, you're bound to have success. And of course, leadership of the Vice Chancellor and the management have been providing to the rest of us to ensure that approvals are seamlessly done and bottlenecks are removed and things are done right. I think it's just the teamwork and the love that we need to showcase University of Lagos. All of us want University of Lagos to shine. And I think if we all work together, no part is small. Even our students have been fantastic. And they are the ones we are having the games for. And I think they have shown that they are very good at what they do, social media mobilization and all that. I think everyone working together, that's the take home for me. It works.
Absolutely. Just like you heard from the keynote speaker earlier today at this particular conference, he is actually impressed with the whole of the turnout. In terms of engagement, we have not left any stone unturned. And so far, it has been a huge success till this very moment. Just like you read a few seconds ago, Professor Afolabi Leshi has attested to that as well too, by saying that teamwork and leadership quality of the Vice Chancellor has been one area that we've built on and has ensured success to this very day. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That'll be the match we'll be doing here at the Nuruddin Auditorium. But keep in mind that later in the day, we shall be having the quarterfinal, the commencement of the quarterfinal games in both the male and the female category of the male football and women's football. Today, University of Lagos, both men and women will be having their football game. First, the University of Lagos women's team will be playing the University of Jos, while at 4 o'clock, we'll be having the University of Lagos men's team play the University of Ibadan in another entertaining encounter. Till then, have for yourself a fantastic day ahead. My name is Baris, and I'm signing out.
We gotta wake it. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh, mama, yeah, yeah. We gotta